Hello, my friends. Welcome again. I'm so happy you're here today. I have something very special to share with you. This is not just a story. It is a real experience, something that happened in my life. It changed everything. And maybe it can change your life too. Let me ask you a question. Do you feel stuck in your English journey? Do you try many times but still feel slow, shy, or lost? I felt the same. I was trying, but I had no real system, no progress, and no confidence. Then one day I heard something simple, something powerful. It was called the 2-hour rule. Just 2 hours a day. That's it. No big plan, no expensive course, no magic. Just one promise. Every day, I will give 2 hours to English. At first, the idea of dedicating 2 full hours every day to learning English seemed almost impossible. My days were already packed with work, family responsibilities, and daily chores. By the time evening came, I felt exhausted, and the thought of adding 2 more hours to my day felt overwhelming. I asked myself, how can I fit this into my life without giving up something important? But deep down, I knew that real progress required a real commitment. I realized that without dedicating enough focused time, I would remain stuck in the same place, struggling, frustrated, and unsure of my next step. So, I made a simple but powerful decision. I would try. No matter how busy I was, I would find a way to give those 2 hours to English every day. The first day was not easy. Sitting down and trying to concentrate on English for 2 hours felt long and tiring. My mind wandered, and I found it hard to stay motivated. But then I remembered that the 2-hour rule wasn't about doing everything at once. It was about consistency and manageable effort. So I broke those 2 hours into smaller sessions. I spent 30 minutes reading English stories and articles to improve my vocabulary. Then I listened to English podcasts for another 30 minutes, focusing on pronunciation and understanding. After that, I practiced speaking out loud for 30 minutes, repeating phrases and trying to build confidence. Finally, I spent 30 minutes writing new words, sentences, and short paragraphs to improve my grammar and expression. Breaking the time into 4 smaller parts made it much easier. I wasn't overwhelmed, and each session felt purposeful. I started to look forward to these daily English moments. The 2-hour rule became less of a challenge and more of a habit, a gift I gave myself every day. That small but steady effort marked the real beginning of my English journey. Slowly, I could see changes, and I knew that this simple promise to myself was going to change everything. After I committed to the 2-hour rule, something unexpected happened. I began to feel a new sense of confidence. Before, whenever I tried to speak English, my voice would shake, and I would stop mid-sentence, worried about making mistakes or sounding silly. But with daily practice, those feelings started to fade little by little. The 2 hours I dedicated each day became my safe zone, a time where I wasn't judged or rushed. It was just me and my English growing together. As I spent more time reading English stories and articles, I noticed my vocabulary expanding naturally. Words I once found difficult to remember began to stick. It was exciting to read a sentence and actually understand what it meant without having to look up every other word. That small change made me more curious about English and motivated me to learn more each day. I stopped feeling overwhelmed and started feeling eager to explore new topics and expressions. Listening was another important part of my journey. I chose podcasts and videos that matched my level, so I wasn't frustrated by complicated language. Over time, I found I could catch more words and phrases. It felt like my ears were slowly waking up to the sounds of English. Sometimes I would listen multiple times, repeating after the speaker to improve my pronunciation and rhythm. This daily habit improved not only my understanding but also how I spoke. Speaking out loud was the hardest for me at first. I remember practicing simple sentences in front of a mirror, feeling shy and awkward, but I knew that to improve, I had to face this fear. I started recording my voice on my phone and playing it back to spot mistakes and see where I could get better. It was uncomfortable at first, but with each recording I noticed progress. I also found courage to speak with friends or even strangers, practicing small conversations. Every time I spoke, I felt a little more confident and a little less shy. Writing was a whole new challenge. I wasn't sure how to structure sentences or use the right grammar. At first, my sentences were short and simple, sometimes even wrong. But because I wrote a little every day, whether it was journaling about my day or writing emails, I slowly understood how to connect my thoughts clearly. Mistakes didn't scare me anymore. They became stepping stones for learning. I even started enjoying expressing myself in English through writing. What amazed me most was how steady, consistent practice made real progress possible. It wasn't about instant results, but about showing up every day, no matter how I felt. The 2-hour rule taught me discipline and patience. I learned that success isn't about speed, but about persistence. Each day, I trusted the process a little more and believed in my ability to improve. With every small win, understanding a podcast, writing a paragraph, holding a conversation, my confidence grew. I began to feel proud of what I was achieving. This new confidence spilled over into other parts of my life, making me more motivated and hopeful about the future. Even with steady progress, the journey wasn't without its challenges. Some days were harder than others. Sometimes I felt tired or distracted, and the 2-hour practice felt like a heavy burden rather than a gift. There were moments when I wanted to give up, telling myself that maybe English wasn't for me or that I was too slow. But I learned that these feelings were normal. Every learner faces obstacles. What matters is how we respond to them. When motivation dipped, I reminded myself of why I started. I thought about the dreams I had, to speak English confidently, to connect with people around the world, to open new opportunities in my career and life. These reasons helped me push through the tough days. I also found small ways to make learning enjoyable. For example, I watched English movies with subtitles, sang along to songs, or chatted with friends online in English. These fun activities didn't feel like studying, but still counted toward my 2 hours. Another challenge was balancing my English practice with daily responsibilities. Life can be busy and unpredictable. Sometimes work or family needs demand my attention, and it was hard to stick to my schedule. But instead of giving up on the 2-hour rule, I adapted it. On very busy days, I split the 2 hours into even smaller pockets of 15 or 20 minutes. Some days, I focused more on listening or reading when I was too tired to speak or write. The key was flexibility combined with commitment, finding a way to keep going no matter what. I also learned the power of celebrating small wins. Whenever I noticed I could understand a new phrase, hold a longer conversation, or write a clearer sentence, I took a moment to feel proud. These little victories built momentum and reminded me that progress, no matter how slow, is still progress. Most importantly, I surrounded myself with positivity. I connected with others learning English, shared experiences, and supported each other. Knowing I wasn't alone made the journey feel less lonely and more inspiring. The 2-hour rule became more than just a daily task. It became a source of motivation, growth, and hope. Every day I dedicated those 2 hours. I was investing in myself and my future. As the weeks turned into months, the 2 hours I devoted each day to English no longer felt like a challenge. Instead, they became a joyful routine, a time I looked forward to. The 2-hour rule didn't just improve my English skills, it transformed my mindset and my life. My speaking became clearer and more fluent. I could express myself without hesitation. Writing became easier and more natural, and I started to write stories and messages without worrying about mistakes. Listening to English podcasts or conversations became enjoyable, not confusing. Reading books and articles opened up new worlds and ideas for me. More than language skills, the 2-hour rule gave me discipline and confidence. It taught me the power of consistency and the value of patience. I realized that real change doesn't happen overnight. It happens when we show up, day after day, even when it's hard. Because of this commitment, I started feeling more confident not just in English, but in other areas of my life too. I approached challenges with a stronger mindset and believed more in my ability to learn and grow. This ripple effect made me feel hopeful and excited about the future. If you are feeling stuck or discouraged in your English journey, I want you to remember this. It's not about how fast you learn, but how consistent you are. The 2-hour rule is simple, but it works because it builds a habit, a daily promise to yourself. You don't need expensive courses or magical shortcuts. You just need to decide, like I did, to give yourself 2 hours every day. 2 hours of learning, practicing, and believing in your potential. This simple rule changed my life, and it can change yours too. So, start today, be patient with yourself, and watch how your English and your confidence grow every day. Now, my friend, it's your turn. You've heard my journey, how I started, how I faced my fears, and how the 2-hour rule became my daily habit. I shared it because I want you to see that if I can do it, you can too. You don't need to wait for the right time or perfect conditions. The right time is now. You might be thinking, 2 hours? That's too much for me. I understand completely. I had the same thought when I began. But here's the secret. You don't need to block 2 hours in one sitting. You can divide it into smaller, easy-to-manage moments. 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes during lunch, 30 minutes in the evening, and 30 minutes before bed. 4 small steps that still complete your 2 hours. Imagine starting your day by listening to an English podcast while having breakfast. Later, during a short break, you read a short English article or story. In the evening, you practice speaking to yourself or with a friend. Before sleeping, you write a few sentences about your day in English. That's it. You've completed your 2 hours without even realizing it. The key is to make the process enjoyable. Choose activities that you love. If you enjoy movies, watch a short scene in English and repeat the dialogues. If you love music, learn the lyrics of a song, and sing along. If you're curious about a topic, read about it in English. Learning doesn't have to be boring. It can be exciting if you make it personal. But remember, the most important part of the 2-hour rule is consistency. It's not about how perfectly you study. It's about showing up every single day. Even if you are tired or busy, give yourself at least a few minutes. Those minutes count. They keep your habits alive. I am not more talented, more intelligent, or more lucky than you. I simply made a decision and kept it. That's the only difference. If you make the same decision today, your English will not just improve, your confidence will grow, your thinking will change, and you will feel proud of yourself. So my challenge to you is this. For the next 30 days, follow the 2-hour rule without excuses. Mark each day on your calendar when you complete your 2 hours. At the end of the month, look back at your progress. You'll be amazed at what you've achieved. The choice is yours. You can keep wishing for better English, or you can start building it today, 2 hours at a time. Before you start your own 2-hour rule journey, I want to give you a little warning. Many learners, including me in the past, fall into certain traps without even realizing it. These mistakes can slow your progress, steal your motivation, and sometimes even make you quit. I don't want that to happen to you. So, let's talk about these mistakes and how you can avoid them. The first and biggest mistake is being inconsistent. This happens when you start with great excitement, but after a few days or weeks, life gets busy, and you skip a day, then 2, then a week. You tell yourself, you'll start again soon, but the habit fades. Think of learning English like watering a plant. If you only water it sometimes, it will dry up and stop growing. Even if you are tired or busy, give yourself at least a few minutes every day. It's better to do a little daily than a lot once in a while. The second mistake is focusing only on one skill. For example, some people spend all their time reading books but never practice speaking. Others watch movies all day but never write anything. The result? Your learning becomes unbalanced. You might understand English well but freeze when you have to speak. The 2-hour rule works best when you divide your time between the 4 key skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Think of it like training for a sport. You have to train all parts of your body, not just one muscle. The third mistake is being afraid of mistakes. Many learners wait until they feel perfect before speaking, but that day never comes. I used to think, what if I say something wrong? What if people laugh? But I learned that mistakes are not a sign of weakness. They are proof that you are learning. Every time you make a mistake and correct it, you improve. Remember, even native speakers make mistakes sometimes. The fourth mistake is using boring or outdated methods. If you only rely on heavy grammar books or exercises that don't interest you, your motivation will disappear. You have to make learning enjoyable. Choose topics you care about. If you love cooking, read recipes in English. If you enjoy sports, watch sports interviews. Listen to music, watch short films, join conversations online. When you enjoy the process, you will want to come back every day. The fifth mistake is expecting quick results. Many people think, I'll be fluent in a month, or I'll speak like a native in 3 months. When they don't see that fast progress, they get frustrated and stop. But learning a language is a slow, beautiful process. You'll have good days and bad days, but if you stay consistent, you will see steady improvement. Think of it like exercise. You don't get fit after one workout. You get fit by showing up again and again. The last mistake I want to share is not tracking your progress. Sometimes you are improving but can't see it, so you feel discouraged. That's why I recommend keeping a learning journal or recording yourself speaking every month. When you look back after a few weeks or months, you'll see how far you've come, and that will motivate you to keep going. Avoiding these mistakes will make your 2-hour rule journey smoother, faster, and much more enjoyable. You'll stay consistent, improve in all areas, and feel proud of every step you take. My friend, you've now heard the full story. How I struggled, how I discovered the 2-hour rule, how I faced challenges, avoided mistakes, and slowly built my confidence. You've seen that there's nothing magical or impossible about it. I'm not a genius, and I didn't have perfect conditions. I simply made a promise to myself, 2 hours every day, and I kept it. The truth is, your journey can start right now. You don't need to wait for a new year, a special event, or the perfect time. The perfect time will never come. Life will always be busy, but your dreams are worth making time for. Think about where you want to be 6 months from now. Do you want to still feel stuck, shy, and frustrated? Or do you want to look back and say, I'm so glad I started that day? The choice is completely yours. Every single day you dedicate to English is an investment in your future self. The 2-hour rule is not just about language. It's about discipline, self-respect, and proving to yourself that you can commit to something and succeed. It's about creating a daily habit that will open doors for the rest of your life. Doors to new opportunities, new friendships, new knowledge, and new confidence. So, here is my challenge to you. Start today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Dedicate 2 hours to your English, however you divide them, whatever resources you use. Just start. Even if you're tired, even if you're busy, even if you're unsure, show up for yourself. And when you do, I promise you this. The future version of you will be thankful. You will be proud of your courage, your effort, and your progress. So, let's do it together. For the next 30 days, you and I will live by the 2-hour rule. Every day, 2 hours. Every day, a step forward. Every day, closer to the English you've always dreamed of speaking. This is your time. Your journey starts now. Let's begin.